Windshield Time. Headed up to Pennsylvania for the Great American Outdoor Show, and obviously got a little bit of time, so I figured I'd roll another Windshield Time video out. Very common question, and I had made a kind of an introductory statement in a previous video about somebody asking what gun should I buy. Hey, if I'm going to buy a gun, what should I get? You're going to have to do a little soul searching and ask yourself a couple of previous questions before you start asking that. Is, what do you plan on doing with a gun? And if a sub question to that is, I'm planning on carrying it. You need to find a gun that's going to work for you. Perfect world scenario, when people say, I'm looking for some protection, what do I need to buy? Okay, well, if you're going to carry it outside of the house, you're going to be go get your concealed weapons permit, get a little training. Obviously, you're going to need a handgun. If you're talking about home protection, then we're going to start talking carbines, AR platform rifles, things like that, which obviously you're not going to be able to necessarily conceal and take everywhere with you when you're out and about. But in a perfect world scenario, if you're looking to protect yourself because the world's turning into a friggin' three-ring circus here lately, you need a good handgun, you need a good carbine, good AR platform. Handguns, go out and find something that's going to work for you. Find an instructor. There are plenty of them out there, much like I do when I do fundamentals of everyday carry. I have a huge bag full of holster mistakes that have been made over the years by myself, and then I have a big box of pistols. So when people say, well, I really think I would, I heard this or read this, and I think that, I'd like this gun. Well, during lunch or after the class or whatever, I'll hang around and got some ammo. Somebody says, I really think I'd rather carry a revolver. Cool. Here's a revolver, here's some ammo, let's grab a target, we'll go see how it works for you. If it is just find somebody that's educated, preferably, place that you can rent those guns and find something that fits your hand, something you can operate. There are pluses and minuses to revolvers versus semi-automatics. I carried a revolver for a very long time, specifically as a backup gun as a cop, and then doing some UC stuff, because revolvers are good for up close stuff. I can bury that thing in somebody's chest and start pulling the trigger, and as long as I don't get skin or bone fragments or shirt stuck up in the cylinder, as long as I keep pulling the trigger, it's going to go bang unless there's something weird with the ammo. Semi-automatics, now you're talking about, you start stuffing the muzzle into something, you run high risk of knocking the gun out of battery, so it's not going to go bang, and it's all that. So if you're going to get a semi-automatic gun, like I've said before, line item in your household budget for some ammo, budget for some training, so you can get out there and you can get some training, so you can run a semi-automatic gun very efficiently with some good training. So don't skimp on that. Buy a good gun and then get some training. Semi-automatic guns are, there's pluses and minuses to both. Plus to semi-automatic gun, they're still super reliable, and you get more bullets. More bullets in a gunfight generally is generally the way I would look at it. I'd want more bullets. Revolvers are still easy to conceal. Sometimes you can get them in smaller places, but now you've got Glock 43s and 42s and shields and other smaller guns. But basic rules of thumb: find something that fits your hand well, find something you can control, find something you can effectively hit a target, and then go that route. Then you need to find a good holster. Good holster, good belt. You've heard me say that probably several times. Holster guidance, I don't care if it's Kydex, leather, whatever else. The one thing you need to stop and think about is holstering the pistol or reholstering the pistol. Make sure that the holster doesn't collapse on itself when you produce the handgun from the holsters. What do you mean by when it collapses on itself? If I can't one-handedly simply either look the gun back into the holster or clear my cover garment and put it away without looking, or just glance down at it, I shouldn't need two hands to put the gun away, and I also shouldn't have to wiggle it in there like I'm trying to get a wet spaghetti noodle up a cat's butt. It should go straight in. Shouldn't have to worry about it. Shouldn't be a daunting task to put your gun away, whether you're initially loading it during the day and put it away, or post-engagement, something like that, and you're going to put it away, or de-escalation. Again, depending on your training, if it gets to the point where you start talking de-escalation and having to quickly put the gun away because you end up having to go hands-on. For a myriad of reasons, could be another 40-minute video. Find a holster you can reholster one-handed, and you don't have to wiggle it in there, and you don't have to do all sorts of other stuff once you clear your cover. So that's handguns. Doesn't matter. There was an article in Recoil the last issue last month about different, and they had a picture of my daily carry gun. It's a Glock 17 with a Sentinel Designs magwell, now a Raven Concealment Freya magwell on it. I like to carry a lot of bullets. The G17 fits my hand. My body shape allows me to conceal a gun that big in an Eidolon, because the Eidolon, as far as I'm concerned, is still the cat's meow as far as appendix carry rigs. It does everything I needed to do and then some, and that with a spare magazine, and I've got enough handgun to either fix that problem or get me to a bigger gun. Carbines, so when we start talking about perfect world, hey, buy one and a couple months later you can buy another one. Buy a good carbine from a reliable company. Don't go out and, because it says $7.99 hanging on the wall, think that that's going to be good. Hey, it's black, it's got a rail on it, and all of a sudden, do some research. There are good guns and there are bad guns, and generally you get what you pay for in the AR market. If you're going to use an AR platform for a home defense, or if you're going to use a handgun for home defense, the absolute next thing you have to buy before you deploy that gun in a home defense situation is a white light. If it's a pistol, you need a white light. If it's a rifle, you need a white light. You can use them both with more training with just a handheld light, but a weapon-mounted light is the best way to go for your home defense stuff. And for me, there's going to be a lot of people out there, not a lot of people. Most people are educated enough to realize that a long gun, an AR platform with 30 rounds, a good sling, a good light, and a good optic is your best home defense weapon. There's plenty of literature out there written by knowledgeable guys that will tell you what ammunition is best for home defense in a long gun. People will talk about, oh, there's over penetration. Every time you pull the trigger, it's going to go through your bedroom wall, and then it's going to go through the outer wall, and it's going to go through the stairs, and it'll go right through your refrigerator, and you're going to ruin your flat screen TV in the TV room, and that's after it goes through the bad guy. Well, that's not the case. AR platforms, long guns, carbines of the such are a lot easier to manipulate. They're a lot easier to hit targets at distance with. You get more bullets, and you can also bludgeon somebody with it. I mean, if it really comes down to it, and they're, you're out of ammo. If you shot 30 rounds at somebody in your house, then you didn't budget for training that year. But from a defensive standpoint, if you're clearing your house and the bad guy comes around the corner and grabs the muzzle of the AR platform, all you really need to do is take one step back, make sure it's on fire, and pull the trigger. And as you step back, because he's yanking it towards him, and you step back, it levels the gun out. It's going to level somewhere in his upper torso, and you can pull the trigger as many times as you want if he's got a hold of that barrel, and the gun is still going to go bang. I don't care if he sticks his finger in the barrel. He'll get the idea that it wasn't a good idea for him to grab a hold of a rifle, and you can stop him at that point. So from a defensive standpoint, when somebody grabs a hold of you with your handgun, it becomes a tussle, and then it really comes down to training and the will to win at that point. Home carbine, sling, white light, and decent optic. You can do it with just iron sights, but if you're going to budget and get to the point where, hey, this is exactly where I need it to be, then an optic is good. But you can absolutely, with good white light, defend your home, defend your castle, and your family and yourself with iron sights on an AR platform. But it all comes down to training. But you need a good white light, and you need a sling. Well, why do I need a sling? Well, if I'm fighting my way through the house to get to my kids that are upstairs, and everybody's threats are neutralized, whatever else is going on, if I need to pick something up, specifically my kids or an injured person, I can sling the rifle. It's still with me. I can pick that person up and move them to safety, move them to a strong point, whatever I need to do. But it makes it very difficult if you don't have a sling on it. Now it's, how do you do that here? Lay that on the person here, you're still conscious enough, hold the rifle while I move you. That's a bunch of bullshit. Sling the rifle, move the person, and do what you need to do. So those are the a lot of food for thought. But if you have, same goes as always. And some of you have taken me up on it. You can hit me up on an email or whatever else. Email's best, and I will help guide you and give you some suggestions as far as, you know, handguns or holsters or ammo or all that other stuff. But ammunition, plenty of sources out there. Find a good source as far as ammunition. Make sure you proof whatever weapon it is, whether it's a pistol or a rifle, with the ammunition that you're going to carry or deploy, because ammo acts differently in the same gun. You can shoot a different grain bullet. You know, it deviates by 10 grains, and they're going to act differently. They're not going to be the same point of aim, point of impact. So that's another little cutie for me to Uti. So that's thoughts that rattle around in my head, based on conversations or questions I've gotten from somebody else. So that's pretty much it. But you work hard for your money, do some research, ask the right people the right questions, and then before you spend your hard-earned money, do your research. And remember that the internet is used for good and for bad. So be mindful when you're reading some of that stuff. Be careful of blah 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 at blogspot.com or any other stuff. Just do your research. And remember, train smart, train often, victory first.